What's up? What's up? This your boy JG back with another episode of Music Tips and Reviews with JG. First of all, thank you to y'all who checked out the first episode of this series. Like I said, this may be the most important series I go over, prioritizing mental health over music success. Uh, this is very important. This is very important for those artists and musicians who really aspire to be in the music industry and the music business. I feel this is very important for you because, you never know what you'll come in contact, when you get into the music industry. And last time we talked about Michael Jackson, how, his father really abused him mentally, said he was ugly and, said all this stuff about him, and it really affected him. He didn't really want to look in the mirror, at his image because, he was always talked about because of his, his pimples and his image from his father. And he didn't really live a good childhood because, he didn't get to experience those things, playing with kids and stuff because he was always in the limelight. So I see why now, when he had gotten older, his older age, he was really playful and he had kids around him. But I don't want to get into that part. These people coming out now after he died and talking about, he abused them and all this stuff. But we gotta, after he passed, gotta think about his legacy and what he left as far as Michael Jackson is concerned. But again, thank you all for tuning in again. This is the second part to prioritizing mental health over music business. And yeah, it's a lot. I can go on and on about the Michael Jackson, case and stuff like that. I heard in the last part of his life, he was really, it was really some dark times. He was accused of child molestation and all that stuff, all those charges. And I was looking back on that 31st anniversary he had, that concert he had. It's like, they celebrate him, but they really, at the same time, ate him alive, and they really used him, because, he had this status, greatest entertainer of all time. And everybody, wanted to get a piece of that, greatness. So, rest in peace, Michael Jackson. Last week, at the beginning of that, that show, I said that, pray for Kelly Price. She was missing. And we have a clip now that, she put out a video message on TMZ about, what was going on with her during that time. But I'm glad that she's okay and that she's still alive, because, it could have been worse. And, you'll hear the story, but you'll know what I'm talking about when I'm saying I'm glad that she's still alive after you hear this clip. So I'm going to play this clip and check it out.
They lost me. I woke up they lost me. I woke up a couple of days later, and the first thing I remember is the team of doctors standing around me and asking me if I knew what year it was.
Wait, when you say they lost you, can you clarify what that means?
Yeah, I died.
Wow. So she had a severe case of COVID-19, and I guess at the moment she had died, and she had woke up again and was doctors around her, and from the her face, she's looked like she's really in a mental stage right now where she's just out of it, and we still are continuing to pray for her. I know she's going through a lot of trauma, and I know she's probably going to go to therapy about these things because that's very tragic. You die and then you come back But praise be to God that she didn't pass away. I believe she's one of the greatest female songwriters of all time. She wrote a lot of stuff for Bad Boy, and she's some background for Mariah Carey at the beginning of her career. So we're going to continue to pray for Kelly Price and her family, but we're going to check out some more of this video.
And the next thing, it was some days later. I remember waking up in ICU. And
For those who tuning in, we're talking about prioritizing mental health over music success. Like I said, this may be the most important subject I talk about on my channel. We going over Kelly Price. She was found missing. She was found out she was missing, and now she's coming out. She got a video, and she's breaking her silence about it.
Doctor asking me if I remembered what year it was. I'm sorry, not what day, if I knew what year it was. Going into the hospital, I'd actually had COVID for over a week, but my conditions were progressing in the wrong direction.
So, some people react to COVID-19 different than others. That's another subject, the mental health of music people. They don't get to travel and go to studios. They're isolated. They were isolated in their homes for a long period of time. And it was good. It had pros and cons, to the COVID-19, pandemic break that we had. The pro was, you got to be creative and work on a lot of music. But the con was, you didn't get to communicate with people or travel and go to studios and stuff like that. So it was a lot of mental things going on during that time. What's up, Steve? Yeah, I'm talking about at the beginning about Kelly Price, how she had a breakdown and how she almost died having COVID-19
from home, and we're jumping all the way in. So I had it.
So if you want to be a guest on the show, I'm gonna send a link, and you can be a guest on the show. Just let me know if you want to be on the show, and I'll bring you up here. So this is part 2 of prioritizing mental health. It's crazy. You never know what these artists are going through. All this pressure of fame and fortune. And like I said last week, a lot of people go through these traumas before they get famous, and when they get famous, it gets bigger and bigger. So
my husband did not have it. He was taking care of me at home, speaking with my primary care physician, giving me.
What's up, Steve?
Hey, what's going on, bro? How you doing,
Yeah,
Jay?
I'm doing good. How your day been?
Pretty good. I figured
Yeah.
I'd take a break from working and
Cool.
join the channel.
Yeah. How you feel about this Kelly Price situation? It's sad, that it happened to her. She had that COVID-19, and then when she went to the hospital, she found out she had died for a moment, and she woke up and doctors was all around her. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it's something, man. You just never know what people are going through, and it's not just. I mean, celebrities too. Celebrities are humans at the end of the day, And so,
Yeah.
But just keeping her in prayer and everything. I know people were worried and everything like that. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. And she's a big part of Bad Boy, and she's a great songwriter. And it's sad, these things. I believe she might have to go to therapy after this, because all the trauma she went through during that moment. So I'm gonna play some more of the clip.
Okay.
All right.
Me breathing treatments, giving me my medicine every 4 hours. He was in constant communication with her, and eventually he ended up testing positive within a week after I got it, and just prior to me.
It's from her face, she's still like I don't know, in some type of real big trauma because of what happened. I don't know if the full story is coming out from her, but
Yeah.
I believe it's some more stuff behind that as well that she's not saying. I know she's not going to share everything, but
Hmm.
I believe it's some other stuff behind that. But yeah,
Yeah. Like you were saying, look at her eyes. It's like,
yeah, it's like her eyes is just open. It's
yeah,
not, it's like in shock. So
right.
yeah,
going into the hospital. She could see, she was seeing me every day on FaceTime and walking him through administering meds. And when it got to a point, my temperature had raised right to about 103 and my breathing was
wow,
extremely shallow. And
wow,
so he called the ambulance. And so I had to go to the hospital. I was discharged. The hospital needed beds. I was able to go home and go home.
yeah. She, her voice still shaky from it, and
Hmm.
I know it's real pressure, especially her being in the limelight, and everybody's talking about pray for her, and then her sister. She talked about later on her sister. She didn't even talk to her sister for a long time. She said that's the way they really are in regular life. They don't
Hmm.
holler. They don't holler talk to each other. And her sister coming out about we couldn't reach her and all this stuff. So it's a lot to it. So
A
yeah,
lot of pressure.
yeah,
Oxygen, excuse me, and go home with oxygen and have home health aides come check on me throughout the week, which is what happened
mm,
for a period of 4 weeks after being released from the hospital. So people were definitely seeing me. The people that could actually say something are not allowed to because of HIPAA law. But I was being seen several times a week by home health aides after being released
wow.
um, on oxygen. And I actually just got my first clean COVID test probably exactly a week ago. So
Well, that's good. She don't have COVID no more. That's
Yeah.
that's a that's a blessing.
Yes, sir.
And she gonna talk about later on. There was a lot of people around her house during this time trying to figure out information. When you get famous, they be around your house and trying to take pictures and everything. And a lot of people talking about her boyfriend had something to do with her being missing. But
Well,
we don't know the full story. So
yeah.
I have what is called long COVID. And I am facing a very uphill battle right now. So I have a lot of rehabbing to do.
yeah,
Um,
I figured she had to go to
I suffer a
rehab.
lot of internal
Hmm.
damage.
Yeah.
And so I have a lot of rehabbing to do before I am able to be what I like to call.
So going back to mental health, that has a lot to do with mental health. I mean, before you see, accept all this, fame and fortune,
Hmm.
you just have to deal with those skeletons. The next person we're gonna talk about, I'm not gonna play this whole clip, but we pray for Kelly Price
Yeah.
and her family, but we pray for her that she get the help she need. And it's sad that it happened to her. And yeah. So we're gonna go to the next person. We're talking about how you feel, mental health, how important mental health is, trying to achieve music success. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's real important, Jay, because when you're a celebrity, like I don't know how that is, but I do know that it's a lot of pressure. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Because what I'm saying, your private life is being invaded. It's
yeah,
like you have to be perfect. Like one false move, and people are like putting stuff out in the news, and then they judging you and everything. So it's kind of like they have to have an alter ego in a sense,
yeah, yeah,
and try to get it together.
yeah,
So, yeah, man, I think mental health is real important and stuff like that. And
yeah,
it's just another level. I mean, like, that's why people with celebrities, you see them wear glasses out in
yeah,
public or whatever like that,
yeah,
because they
yeah.
want to feel human. They don't know what that feels like, or it's been a minute, it's been a while.
Yeah, I remember somebody interviewed Diddy one time, and they were like, "Why you wear sunglasses all the time?" And he said he don't want people to see his soul.
Wow.
And I thought that was some interesting because in a way I see what he's saying, because a lot of people try to get into his personal business and they try to see how he really is, but you have to put on that persona, like you said, that ego, that alter ego, to really cover your privacy, be private sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's like in a sense they gotta like turn into like actors and actresses because you
Mhm.
know it's just, I don't know, it's like being a superhero. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like Batman, he's Bruce Wayne,
yeah,
but you know what I'm saying? Like he has a different identity because he's a hero to the world. But
yeah,
at the house, you know what I'm saying, or in his enterprise, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying, he's he's a human being. So in a
Mhm.
sense, celebrities, I don't know, celebrities in a sense are superheroes because they are influential and
Yeah,
they deliver their talent and everything. I mean, like, when you do your music and stuff like that, you're reaching people from around the world. So you have fans,
yeah, yeah.
you know.
So yeah, and since we talking about alter ego, I know you remember the time where R. Kelly, he used to wear the mask. During the time he did "Step in the Name of Love" and all those songs,
Yeah,
he had the mask and stuff like that. And our prayers go out to R. Kelly.
yes, sir.
We know we can't say that what he did wasn't wrong, but
Mhm.
we pray that he find help that he need. And
Yeah,
I feel, I wish the people around him really didn't chase the money so much that they forgot to help
mm,
him out.
yeah,
He had all these people around him, but they talked about him in the Survivor R. Kelly series. But did they really want to help him? Behind closed doors.
wow.
Did they want to tell him, before you do this next step, you need
Mhm.
help with these things, with these addictions. He liked young girls and stuff like that, and he just been found guilty of sex trafficking and
Yeah,
racketeering, and
wow.
it's just sad. Speaking of mental health, he was dealing with this for years and years,
Hmm.
and people didn't want to address it, and people didn't want to help him out, and these people was around him, and they didn't do anything about it. So
Hmm.
that's the sad thing about it. So what do you
Yeah, I
think about
agree.
that?
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean,
Yeah,
they were getting paid. So how much they were getting paid, we don't know. But you know, money can push away things. You know what I'm saying? Money can, like, you can overlook things. You know what I'm saying, just
yeah,
by having money.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like when that money is low,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying, like, you reality sinks back in. You know what I mean? Like that reality's still there, and it's like, okay, like you have morals at the end of the day. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? The thing is that R. Kelly. I don't know, man. I really think that R. Kelly had a chance of,
yeah,
passing that
yeah,
through,
yeah, yeah,
but I just think things just kept
yeah, yeah.
reaching back in his direction, man.
Yeah, so since we talking about R. Kelly, I'm gonna go to the next clip. On the news, they talking about him being found guilty of these counts, of these cases. So
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. We are going to begin with that breaking news from New York. In one of the most prominent trials of the Me Too era,
and it's sad, he received all these awards, and like he said in the song, he wrote all these songs for people, and he didn't get the publishing, and he didn't get all this money for so many songs. He contributed to many artists, and now on top of that, he's found guilty of these charges. And I believe as a black man, not excusing what he did, but
Right.
as a black man, we have to be double careful with
Oh,
the direction we go to, because they, you know, it seems like every big artist or every big entertainer is always attacked in a certain direction. You
Yeah.
know, Michael Jackson, even
Yeah.
Michael Jordan with his gambling issues. They say, you know, he had a gambling issue. You know, Bill Cosby with this, you know, similar thing like R. Kelly, you know, messing
Yeah.
with young girls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know, as a black man, we have to be extra careful with those
Yes,
things.
sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. I agree, man.
Yeah. So we're gonna continue watching this. They talking about his counts.
A federal jury has convicted R&B superstar R. Kelly on all counts.
Wow.
8 of sex trafficking and 1 count of racketeering, a charge usually associated with mobsters. The prosecutors accused Kelly of grooming young.
It's sad, you know. Like when you have addiction, you know, it's like something you can't stop. Like it starts as a habit, and then it becomes an addiction. And I believe he dealt with this since he was real young. As we know, he was molested by, where they say his sister, but we'll say a family member.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think that affected him along the way. So he, you know, I guess it backfired on him. And now, you know, he messed up all these, you know, these females' lives because of this. You know, they dramatized from what he did to them. You know, it kind of, you know, when you hurt, you know, like they say, hurt people hurt. And, you know, he never dealt with his demons. And, you know, he affected so many other lives as well. So
But it's crazy, man. I mean, like you said, he still had demons that he never dealt with, and I mean, he even had an alter ego too.
yeah,
But the thing is, this man was real talented. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I mean, he had gospel songs.
yeah, yeah. It's like
I mean,
he could do so many things. You know,
Yeah.
it's just extremely sad. Like to see somebody like that much talent.
Right.
You know, it goes down the drain because of your you know, the demons that you have. You know,
Right.
he wrote Trinity 5:7, God's Grace. Like that's one of the biggest gospel songs. You know,
Yeah.
and he could go so many ways, so many directions, and it's sad that you know, even though they mute R. Kelly and stuff like that, it's like you can't help to notice the influence that he had on the music. Yeah, it's like if you think about Trey Songz, you think about all these artists that sang these type of songs, and they all influenced by R. Kelly, and it's hard to get. It's hard to get.
And people messed up. And people who was against them. I mean, not against them, but muted them. I mean, like they even admitted to it. Like,
Yeah.
and I understand it. Like they understand it because it wasn't the lifestyle. It was musical influence. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it should be about the art, but at the same time, they are role models.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people do look at, what I'm saying, their character. But see, they have a job, and that job is to deliver their talent. Right? But people do take an interest in their life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, you don't know what they do behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But you know that you're influenced by the music and their life that's in it.
Yeah.
But when you do find out you know what I'm saying, they're going through things, your heart hurts because you know what I'm saying, you grew up listening to this person and everything like that. Like their music got you through things. Their music was played. I remember leaving my grandmother's church, and God bless her, she passed away back in 2007. But after church, people would listen to Happy People, church people, and they were blasting it in the parking lot.
Yeah, and I think about that. I think about Pharrell Happy. I think he probably was influenced by R. Kelly versatility that he can write a song for, you know, everybody, the club, the receptions, you know, and I think, you know, it's just sad that all of that talent is in a jail cell, you know, that all that, it's just sad, you know.
And it lets you know, man, like, you know what? I used to think people who had talent, especially like and he's a celebrity, you would think and stuff, all of that could save him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when you're at a certain level, even though he was dealing with this earlier, but sometimes when people get to a certain level, they can feel invincible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that was R. Kelly. R. Kelly was just dealing with stuff. R. Kelly, he loved helping people. He can write hits like crazy. He always said and stuff. He felt at his best when he was wanted. Yeah. But I just think at the end of the day, Jay, I just think it was people that was around him who didn't take the time to encourage him. They were being blinded by the money and stuff like that. And so, yeah, R. Kelly is not going to get any help because, you know what I'm saying, he's doing his job. They're like, cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You giving us money and stuff like that, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But it is sad because
it is sad they covered it up, man. We got a comment. Shout out to my dad. He said, "I'm not trying to protect him, but I like to know where were these kids' moms and dads." Exactly. And that's a good question. And you know, I had also the question is, you know, they knew all these things was happening before they let their kids go with him. Right. So the question is, was they after the money and the fame of their child, or was they, you know, I guess the money had blinded them, you know, too, because, you know, they act like they don't know what happened, you know, before that happened. Yep. And so that's a good question. Where were the kids' moms and dads?
Before I answer that, there was somebody in the court who was trying to get R. Kelly to listen to them.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to work with them. So yeah, they knew. See, they knew what could happen or what would happen. Yeah. That was their excuse. But either way, they were going to try to get money from him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, they knew.
Yeah. So again, shout out to my dad for that question. That was a good question. Where were the kids' moms and dads? Because you know, if that was my child and I heard stuff, you know, cause that news was really big though, you know, that, you know, he had all these sex allegations against him even before what's the girl, Ezreal and Jocelyn. Yeah. All these girls, all this stuff was already out before, you know, that happened. So
I mean, but that, like I said, and I think Steve Harvey was saying, it was like I felt like R. Kelly had a chance because remember that time he was in court and he was found not guilty. Yeah. Even though people said they saw him in the tape. But I don't know, man. I just think like it's like when you have an addiction, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's kind of like
it's like an alter ego. It's like a you have a disorder. Like, you know, when you have addiction, it's hard to stop. And you know, maybe he was a good, like everybody said that approached him, like the females that was with him. They always said he was charismatic and he was nice at first, and then he just switched on them, you know, and you know do all types of things that wasn't, you know, right. And now all these ladies, all these females is turning against him. And, you know, it's no coincidence that all of them are saying the same thing. And I think, you know, that demon, that spirit came out of him, you know, when he was encountering these women, you know, and they all saying the same thing. You know, they said that he said, you know, call him daddy and all that stuff. And, you know, it's just sad. And Darian said, I asked you this before, James, what price you put on the soul. I bet you their parents benefited in the same way, some way. Yeah. I don't know if they, you know, doing all this, like the Jocelyn Savage parents, they all out in public about it. I don't know their agenda, but like the Bible says, you gain the whole world and lose your soul.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what happened. This is an example. You gain all this fortune and fame, and you keep covering up your demons, and it's gonna come after you. So
I really think too, man. Like, cause remember when R. Kelly did Happy People?
yeah,
I think what was going on was that he was trying his best to like do better.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, but like, cause he felt like cause, when God gives you a chance or another chance or whatever like that, and it could have gone worse.
yeah,
People tend to make an effort to do better.
yeah,
But I think for him, it was like a tug of war type thing. It was like he wanted to do good,
yeah,
but he had those moments of temptation.
Yeah.
So it was like he was trying to like balance it.
mm-hmm.
Where eventually his addiction got the best of him. And
it came to the point where it really got crazy, and he told these females, if you say something, something happened to you. It came to a threat thing, because at sin he was really, really trying to cover it up. You heard of the lady that braided his hair for years, how she said he abused her.
Wow.
It just that story is very graphic, but it's just crazy how much of a downfall it is. So
and it's like
yeah. So I'm gonna go to the next clip. His wife, his ex-wife, talks about how he had two different personas. So we're gonna check this out. They gotta pay the bills.
you know that.
Yeah.
That there's two different men. That there's the person, Robert.
Yeah.
There's the persona, R. Kelly.
Go ahead and break them off with a little previews of the remix.
R. Kelly, widely regarded as the king of R&B, known for songs like Ignition. But his ex-wife Drew.
And that Ignition song was a big hit too. Like,
It was,
yeah.
And look, and that was the if I'm correct, that was like the first remix.
Yeah.
Was
so it's just crazy, And like we were talking about the alter ego thing, he had one, like he was Robert, he was the nice guy, and then R. Kelly is this image that he put in front of everybody in the world. He's R. Kelly. So we're gonna continue this clip, because this is an important clip.
Rhea Kelly says lurking behind that Playboy image, there's a more sinister persona.
Here I am, his principal dancer, choreographer.
Darian says, man, we gotta stop making excuses for him. What's in you will always come out of you. Yeah. Well, like they said, what's in the dark comes to the light.
Right.
And those things came to the light, and he was guilty of all these charges. And we can't make excuses for him, what he did. But we can do is pray for him that he change his heart, and that these things, sometimes God has to get your attention in certain ways. And I feel this is, it's real harsh, but I think this is going to be a life-changing thing for him. And we know, we're not perfect, but at a certain moment we hit that we hit that brick wall, and I believe he hit this brick wall right now. So yeah.
And I want to add to that, like, you know what I'm saying, and I know he's going to be in jail, but God can still use him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes wherever God will meet you at, you know what I'm saying, like that. So even in all of this, I mean, it's sad that it's like this, but you know what? he still
Yeah.
have a life to still live, and God can
Yeah.
still turn something around.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So we're gonna continue watching this. His wife talking about, she stayed in this marriage for a long time, and now, she's really coming out with the story.
On stage, right next to him. And people have no idea that this man just beat me on the bus.
Wow.
People have no
Right.
idea of the bruises I'm hiding.
Drea claims she was a victim herself of emotional, physical, and sexual.
And it's crazy, I think, all these I think all these females, they had to come out at the same time to be protected, because if one of them came out at one time, everybody would be after her. But all these, I think it took them to have these series surviving R. Kelly to really have a coalition to really, bring justice to this. But it's just sad, him being, being such a big legend, writing for Michael Jackson. I Believe I Can Fly. He's writing all these big songs, and he's doing this behind closed doors. It's an addiction. You can tell it's an addiction because, you writing all these great songs, and then behind closed doors is a different thing. So, and that's the point, in this show, is that you have to deal with these things before you achieve these success. Because once you achieve the success, it'll eventually go away, because you never dealt with yourself before these things happen. So yep. So let's play some more of this.
Sexual abuse at the hands of Robert Kelly.
Did you ever fear for your life?
Yes.
You thought he might kill you? Your kids?
No. But me, definitely.
Their tumultuous relationship initially began with a love for his music.
Thong, yo, there's a part in there where I'm dressed as a geisha. This is around the time when Matrix came out.
Well, I didn't know she was in the video. I just saw her too. Yeah.
So I put the Matrix mood in the video.
There she is, front and center.
Right there,
wife
yeah.
of 13 years and mother to his 3 children.
Why did you decide that?
Summer of 2017 hits. All these allegations start coming out again.
Yeah, I think she had hope. She felt she had hope during that time when all these people came out, and these females, and that's when she really came out with her story. So.
God, I don't think I can take this.
We're going to begin this half hour with those disturbing allegations against R. Kelly.
He texted R. Kelly to let my daughter free.
Those claims stem from a BuzzFeed article.
It's just, I don't know about some of these parents. They coming out now. Do you feel someone want publicity, or they really, just trying to find justice for their daughters?
You know what, man? I do. I do. It's like when, not to put this on, it's two different things, but kind of like when Prince passed away.
Yeah.
And people saying I'm related to him. All these people saying I'm related to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's we want to know that, you went through what you went through, and we want to feel for you. But money's involved in this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah. Kind of and I gotta say this too, man. I mean, this is how I feel. I mean, the same thing with Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
I'm not doubting the fact that a lot of these women, they went through stuff, but it's just hard for me to believe that all these women, like,
I believe it was consensual at first, and then Bill Cosby might have took advantage of them because he was Bill Cosby. But at the same time, from the beginning, they gotta face it was consensual. How crazy they were in these clubs and stuff like that. Anything happens in the club. So yeah, so
it's something, man. It's like
detailing allegations that two parents' daughter was being held against her will.
Oh, hold on.
Article also
Okay.
alleges that 6 women live in properties rented by Kelly in Chicago and the Atlanta suburbs.
Okay.
And that he controls every aspect of their lives. Charges that Kelly and several of the women.
You have to go.
My co-worker. Oh,
Okay.
that from the break.
Okay. Well, thanks for. Oh, you gotta go.
Oh no.
Okay. Okay. Kyle. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, we all watched some more of this clip with ex-wife.
The daughter of the concerned parents have denied. Those allegations have sparked a movement. Celebrities like John Legend and Viola Davis joining the call to hashtag Mute R. Kelly, demanding that people stop playing and promoting his music. Apple Music removed him from their featured playlist.
And that's sad, you know. He shut down from all these outlets and stuff like that. It's really sad, you know. Wow. And you know, that's R. Kelly. You know, we know the story about what happened. And you know, we're gonna go to the next artist that I want to talk about, Whitney Houston. It's sad the way her life ended. Rest in peace, Whitney Houston. So we're gonna go to her video.
Goodbye. Random calls and offers. Hello, built-in spam blocker. Now I can't soak up the sun in peace. Hello, Google Fi. A phone plan that can.
They gotta pay their bills.
The wait is finally over. Shen.
The legendary singer Whitney Houston died tragically on February 11th.
So it's sad the way she died. You know, it seemed like her daughter and her dad are about the same way, and it's kind of mysterious the way that happened. And you know, they still trying to figure out what really happened, and it's crazy the way, you know, these celebrities pass away, and they still trying to figure out how they passed away.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? All this mysterious deaths and stuff like that. It's like
it's still one of those things like what happened type thing, because it is strange. I mean, like you hear like who was there when this happened, like, but were they involved? Were they, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it is weird, like, you know, especially being in that industry. You know, I mean, you know, I mean, it could have been anything. I mean, you hear about, and I'm not saying it would, but you hear about sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? You hear about
Illuminati. Yeah.
This is one of those things, and you know, it's like what just gonna have to try to find out. Hopefully, we can find out what really happened, was the cause of her death.
Yeah. So
2012, when she accidentally drowned in a bathtub after ingesting cocaine. But what were the events leading up to this icon?
So they saying, I saw another clip that we're gonna play later on. Her brother admit that he introduced her to these drugs and stuff like that. And so, you know, a long time everybody said, "Oh, Bobby did this to her," you know. And, you know, that's not true. She was under influence even before she met Bobby. And, you know, that's a big part of why I did this series. Because, you know, you get this fame and fortune and you try to cover all this stuff. But the money makes it worse. And, you know, what do you think about that, you know, as far as these artists needing to take drugs to cope with, you know, what they're covering up? You kind of low or faded. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, man. I mean, you know, they say fame is a drug itself.
Yeah.
So the thing is that people, like I said, they're in the limelight. You know what I'm saying? The world is watching them. They got a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. And it's kind of like a big light just shining on their insecurity. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And that's why some of them develop alter egos, and then some of them go towards drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like that, because it helps. It helps with whatever they're going through. You know what I'm saying? But it's something, man. Like it's something. It's I can't really, I don't know how that is, but just imagine. I mean, think about social media. You know what I'm saying? Like before social media, you know, people can have like 1,000 positive things, but they'll trip over one negative thing. You know, like people try to be so perfect. You know, and I just think this is something people are not used to. I mean, like fame, fortune is just something like not used to. Like people want that. But when they get it, you know, when people say you asked for this, or you asked for what it came with, it's the responsibility that they wasn't prepared for.
That's true.
I think drugs and stuff is
So we're gonna play some more of this this video. They talking about, you know, her last 12 months of her life. So we're gonna check this out.
Tragic passing. This is what the last 12 months of Whitney Houston's life were like. Whitney Houston struggled with addiction to drugs and alcohol for much of her life, and in 2011, the star was finally moving towards recovery. Houston had specifically had public and long-standing issues with pills, cocaine, and alcohol.
If you had to name the devil for you, the biggest devil among them?
That would be me.
In May 2011, the 47-year-old singer voluntarily sought help from a rehabilitation program. Houston...
But I do applaud her. You know, she tried to get help, you know, for these things. And it's, you know, it's sad that these things happen. And we just don't know, you know, what happened, you know, that time of her death. But it's strange that her daughter died the same way. And we pray for Bobby Brown. I know he's still, you know, healing from these things. And that's tragic to lose your wife, ex-wife, and your daughter, her daughter, you know, your daughter. So, yeah. And then I think recently he lost his son as well, Bobby Brown Jr. And I know an artist that I wrote for, James Worthy. He wrote for Bobby Brown Jr. and I know he was hurt by that loss as well. So we pray for Bobby Brown, you know, to give him strength. I know sometimes he think about those things, you know, what could have had, you know, how things could have been better, you know. So
had faced.
I want to say this crazy, man. Now, like, you know, we grew up, you know what I'm saying, listening to these people going to school and stuff, listening to them, and like right before our eyes, like, you know,
your audio, excuse me, your audio is kind of shaky or something. It's kind of like, it sounds like a robot or something. Your voice, it got kind of like a weird echo to it.
Want me to leave and come back?
Yeah, you come see it. I can hear you better now when you picked it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's crazy how, you know, we grew up listening to these artists, not thinking they couldn't do anything wrong, but it's just like, you know, you would think that, you know, their life, they're going to go through things, but not like this.
Yeah.
And it's just letting you know that these are people who just go through things. They're humans at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so hearing like the tragedy of Whitney, you know what I'm saying, and her daughter and R. Kelly, you know what I'm saying, being in jail, it's like, dang, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Like it just lets you know like how like you just never know how life is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we look up to these people. Musicians to tell them.
Yeah, we're gonna play a clip from Bobby Brown, he talking to ABC about Whitney, his daughter.
We're learning more tonight about the dark and final days of legendary superstar Whitney Houston. Her ex-husband, Bobby Brown, revealing new and intimate details of the couple's turbulent marriage, including their drug abuse. And Brown is pointing fingers tonight about...
And it's crazy. It was all in the limelight. You know, that reality show they had, being Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Tragic loss of his daughter, Bobby Christina. ABC's Robin Roberts has the exclusive conversation.
And it's sad, you know, they said her last performances, you know, she really lost her voice. And people walked out the concerts because, you know, they used to that big sound in Whitney Houston with the range and everything. And then, you know, she got older and them drugs, you know, took a hold of her. And, you know, it's sad people walked out her concert because, you know, she no longer had that voice no more. And it's just sad.
That video or picture of her with Michael Jackson?
Yeah, I think so.
She was singing or something, built on the same stage.
Oh yeah, the 31st anniversary. When she was real skinny. That was I remember when I was in middle school and I saw that. I was like, you know, it was sad to see. I couldn't even look at it because, you know, see her in that state, you know, she was almost skeleton, like bones. And it was you know, it was crazy. So, and it's sad to see, you know, somebody with that much talent, you know, it goes to waste like that. It's just sad.
I mean, even R. Kelly, he had that song, and he had this like since I think he played it back in '97 on MTV.
Oh yeah, MTV. Yep.
And he saw that on her phone.
Yeah, it's sad. Yep.
It was that song and the movie, The Bodyguard, that propelled Whitney Houston from superstar singer to bona fide Hollywood movie star. But in the years after, Whitney battled addiction. The public...
Yeah, this is around the time when we saw her on that 31st anniversary. You know, she was real small, and she lost a lot of weight from, you know, being addicted to drugs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Witnessing her erratic behavior on that reality show.
Lord, I just want to be a real person.
And that amazing voice, not what it once was.
Yeah, it's sad people walked out. I remember that clip. Yeah.
At the center of it all, Bobby Brown, father to her only daughter, Bobby Christina, who tragically...
And also, rest in peace, Bobby Christina. It's sad. People don't really know how she died either, but she died in the bathtub as well. And it's crazy. Yep.
Also passed away 3 years after her famous mother.
If I can get those 2 days back.
Tonight, Bobby Brown speaking out about the women he loved.
Yeah, it's like you don't think about it at the moment. You know, you're on that high. You're on them drugs, and you don't think about the consequences later on. How can it affect you and your family? So, I think Bobby Brown is in that moment now. You know, they always say, you know, he's the bad boy of R&B and all this stuff. And, you know, it is sad to see him having to, you know, bury his daughter, his ex-wife, and all that, you know. What do you think about that?
I mean, they say parents, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, they should be the ones to bury their kids, and that's true. But
yeah,
as you can see, as you can see, whatever like that is, it don't always happen that way.
Yeah, yeah.
But definitely, rest in peace to her as well.
Yeah.
Loved and lost.
I still loved her.
Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston were a seemingly unlikely pair. She was the reigning pop princess girl next door. and he was the bad boy of R.
And then people always say, he was jealous of Whitney Houston because, Bobby Brown had his run. But, I think the labels, like MCA, they had shut down or something like that. And Bobby Brown wasn't really, up there in the, as far as success, later on. And you see the movie, they say, he was jealous of her, but I don't think that was the case. I think it was just their drug addiction. It really took a toll on them. So, yeah. So we're gonna go to the next clip. Let's see. Oh yeah, let's go back to R. Kelly right quick. I forgot to mention some stuff. How he affected how he affected these females. We're gonna check out this clip of this girl Faith who accused R. Kelly of giving her herpes. So we're gonna check. I know this is a little graphic, but I just want to show this stuff to prove a point about fame and success. So let's check this out.
A San Antonio woman is suing singer-songwriter R. Kelly for sexual battery and failing to disclose a sexually transmitted disease. She claims they met in 2017 after a concert here. R. Kelly is one of the most successful R&B singers of all time. Jerika Duncan spoke to the 20-year-old who's suing the singer.
He was like, "Here's my number, take it. Text me a picture of you." So,
and when you think of these stories like this, you like, where were the parents? They let their daughter just go off with this man. They know already had a lot of child pornography and all this stuff, and they let their daughter do these things. She's out at a concert. She travels to see him at a concert, and he tried to get at her and had sex with her, and you see what happened. So
I know it's you with your name.
20-year-old Faith Rogers says in March of last year, she met R. Kelly in San Antonio at a party after his concert.
He was older than me, and that was a red flag,
Did you look at him?
So she said it was a red flag from the beginning, and she continued on with R. Kelly. So that's kind of a strange part as well. Right. But she, they all knew that R. Kelly had these problems. So, Darian said, "Hey, bro, on a lighter note, please review Anthony Hamilton's new album. Love is the New Black. I'm almost through my phone out the window." Yeah, but we gotta talk about these things though, because it's important. I know this is a sad topic, but I have to talk about these things because it's important, for these future artists to not, they got to think about their mental health as well. You can't just think about, getting the success, but you got to think about your mental capacity as well, because you don't want to be dealing with demons before you get success, and then when you get success, it gets worse. So. But I'm gonna check out that Anthony Hamilton album and review it at a later time. So shout out to Darian. Thanks for being in the show. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man at the time?
Not at all. Even being around him, he doesn't act his age, and you feel like I'm chilling with somebody I went to high school with.
And that's a crazy thing when people talk about Michael Jackson. And Darian said, "Oh no, I definitely understand. I was caught up in the moment. Don't mind me." shout out to Darian. Yeah, I know this is a touchy topic, and he said he almost threw his phone out the window on the other comment. But
I believe I can fly.
and that was a monumental song. I Believe I Can Fly. I remember, they chose a few of us to sing it at 5th grade graduation. I think it was 5th grade graduation. And our friend Devin, he sung that 1 year. Shout out to Devin DeRico.
Yes, sir.
He sung it at assembly in elementary school. And so, all these people, it was in the movie Drumline. They sung I Believe I Can Fly. They play out, Space Jam. And, it's just sad. It's just sad. But I had to go back to R. Kelly because I had a few more clips I wanted to play about him. But rest in peace, Whitney Houston. It's sad what happened to her. But it's some more I had to talk about R. Kelly. I forgot to talk about.
After 2 months of phone calls, texting, and FaceTiming, she says R. Kelly flew her to New York to attend one of his shows.
And that's a question. R. Kelly flew this girl to wherever he was, the concert. It's like where's the parent? Like no, you can't go. You too young to go.
Right.
I mean, I know she was like 19 at the time, but where was the parents? Like, you should telling her you shouldn't go to this, concert or whatever.
Right.
It's crazy.
Just like what your pop said earlier, like, where's the accountability? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I understand like everything that happened, like you said, but they have parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's their job, is to protect their kids, and knowing what they knew and everything like that. That's why I was saying that it had to be the money, because they knew the plan of how they could get the money, whether it went good or bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, my child, I know, you know what I'm saying, like that, they could get a record deal or they can get money. You know what I mean? Like that. But if something goes wrong, you know what I mean, like that.
Yeah.
They can still get, So it all makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And even paid for her hotel. The morning after the performance, she says Kelly visited her room.
He turns on all the lights and he's like, take off your clothes. And he says it, with authority. And
so, like we said, he had an addiction. And, now at this moment, after the first allegations, like in 01, he got away with that. And so, like, now after that, he feel he can get away with it again. He had a hit album, Chocolate Factory, right after that. Those allegations. And so, like, he on top of the world. He trapped in the closet and all this stuff. And he feel, he can do anything he want to do now. Because, y'all didn't get me. So, like they say, you can run, but you can't hide. So now, God have to stop him. And it's sad that it's happened. But, now all these females coming out, saying that he, and all the incidences sound similar. So, yeah.
And his voice, not just, he's demanding you do this. And I didn't take off my clothes because why would I? Just wasn't ready. Sex isn't something, I'm ready for it.
According to Rogers, she ultimately submitted to having sex and alleges Kelly recorded it on his iPad without her consent.
Did you want to have sex with him?
No.
And that's the thing with R. Kelly, that he had a history of that too. He'll have a camera of them, having sexual acts. And he continued on with this female, Faith. And it's just crazy. And wow.
He has this type of like intimidation right off the bat, So I was just waiting for it to be over.
What happens after that? What sort of conversation did you guys have?
He comes over and he starts like rubbing the side of my face. And he asked me how old I was. And I told him. And he's like, if you're really, 16, that you can tell daddy, right? And he was like, you just...
And a lot of them said that he said, call him daddy and all this stuff. And it's no coincidence all these girls saying the same thing. So, you know, we just have to pray for R. Kelly that he find, you know, deliverance.
Right.
Because, you know, I think, well, it's hard for us as black people to get help, you know. But I hope they put him in a rehab or something like that, where he can get help. And it's sad, like I said, these people, these producers, these musicians that was around him should have said something, you know.
Right.
Like at least say, you know, I can't do this because I know what you represent. I know what you're doing. I can't just do it because you want me to. Or who you are. You know, I'm coming to you as a friend. You know, I can't play on these things unless you get help.
Right.
They should have said stuff like that. But the money was clouding them and stuff like that. And you know, what you feel about his fellow people? What do you think they should have did?
Like I said, yeah. I mean, they knew what he liked, what he was involved in, and that right there, it just wasn't right. You know what I mean? And yeah, they should have stood up and said something, because eventually, you know, it won't going to go right. You know what I mean? And so the thing is that, you know, they could have at least stood up and said something or warned him or something. You know, something to like let him know, hey, look, man, like this is not cool. You know what I'm saying? Like that, you know. But that money talks. You know, so R. Kelly knew what he was doing too by paying them, even and everything like that, and they won't complaining.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But eventually, when the money ran out, or when the money was getting low, then you know, they couldn't hold their end of the bargain.
And the thing was, going back to what I was talking about, the hair braider, the girl that braided his hair for a while. That's why they got rid of that song Hair Braider. They didn't put it on the album because she was pressing charges against that song. And so R. Kelly said, I can't put it out because, you know, what happened. But
I remember that song too.
Yeah. And she said that couch that was in the video was similar to the one where she braided his hair on at the time of what happened. So it's very graphic what he did to her, but just
I mean, and the crazy thing is, bro, it's like R. Kelly could get any woman.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't have to go through all of that, but because of the stuff he was dealing with, you know what I'm saying, you would think it's easier now. He has this access to women now, and don't have to go through all of that.
Yeah,
I knew there was probably women that would say, "R. Kelly, here I am."
Yeah, but he was dealing with that. He was dealing with that addiction to some young females. Yeah.
Right.
Because they say
that never stopped.
Yeah, they even said in the early '90s he was driving to schools checking out the females. So yeah. So we're gonna go to. This was a personal manager that was with R. Kelly, and they talking about the truth about R. Kelly and Aaliyah, about their marriage and stuff like that. So
when it came to sex, it was sex to Robert, despite the age. If a girl was in a room and she had a big booty, she had a big booty. If she was 15 or 20, she had a big booty to him. Period.
So this guy from, I think he's from Britain or something like that. He's doing this documentary about and trying to talk to the personal manager, trying to see what happened, you know, during these allegations. So.
Everybody seems to think that y'all are either girlfriend or boyfriend or cousins or friends. Let's just get the record straight.
Better go get me a white Jeep.
That part was kind of weird. He said, "I'm gonna get me a white Jeep," or something like that. He said, but yeah, this was a weird interview. I know everybody saw this interview, so.
Well, no, we're not at all. No, we're not. We're just very close. He's my best friend.
But were they just friends? When a marriage certificate was published by a magazine, it appeared 27-year-old Kelly had married Aaliyah. Although the marriage certificate states that she was 18, Aaliyah was just 15 years old. Both R. Kelly and Aaliyah denied the marriage to.
So even with this, it's like, what was the parents' intentions on her working with R. Kelly? You know, what was their intentions? And it just, you know, it's been happening for a long time, and he got away with it. And I heard when he went with Dame Dash, you know, they'll get to his conversation about R. Kelly, and then, you know, at a certain point, Aaliyah said, "No, I don't want to talk about it no more," because, you know, some of the stuff may have been very graphic, and, you know, it brought back those, you know, past memories. So, you know, rest in peace, Aaliyah, as well. But we're gonna keep going with this video. It's more about, you know, what happened.
Place, and few from R. Kelly's inner circle have been willing to confirm the story. One man who was very close to R. Kelly at the time is Rocky Bivens. Rocky became R. Kelly's personal business manager in '96 and was his right-hand man for the next 14 years.
So I'm wondering why these people that been with him for years and years, you know, they didn't say anything. But it's just strange.
Oh, look at that backstage entrance.
Rocky's agreed to
and what he was doing for her. What
and relationship between R. Kelly and Aaliyah.
He loved her, and I believe she loved him for who he was and what he was doing for her. Was she old enough to understand what she was involved in? I probably don't think so.
So later on, he gonna talk about, you know, he was around R. Kelly all the time. He was his personal manager, and he said he never seen them kiss or anything. So it's just strange. But he said he did think something weird was going on at the time. So
Sexual relationship.
I never saw them have a sexual relationship. You know, I mean, and I have no reason to lie. I've never seen Robert and Aaliyah intimate. I mean, he never. Now, of course.
Then if you see Survivor R. Kelly, one of the females did say that she saw R. Kelly having sex with her, but you know, we never know what's the truth. But, you know, rest in peace, Aaliyah. I wish, you know, she was still alive to really say her side of the story, because, you know, a lot of stuff would come out if she was still alive. So, and then a lot of stuff coming out now that, you know, they try to cover up stuff, you know, having Aaliyah, you know, die or whatever. But we don't really know what's the truth or not. So, yeah. They're talking about, you know, sacrifice and all this stuff, but you never know.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's something, man. It's
yeah.
It's really something, bro. It's just like one of those things. It's like he's just thinking like, wow, what's happening?
Yeah.
Why did this happen?
Yeah. Yeah. It's you know, this has been you know, another episode of prioritizing mental health, and you know, it's just something to think about if you really want to get into this music business. I might have a part 3 to this, but tonight we talked about R. Kelly and Whitney Houston, and you know, all these people that I talked about in these last 2 shows. You know, they was very influential in a lot of other people's careers. And it's sad to see that these people, just really plummeted. 2 of them passed away. Well, 3 of them, DMX, passed away. I talked to him about him on the last episode. So it's just sad, that these great artists, they went to their demise, passing away and stuff like that. And it feels like now it's like, what is it with these, African American artists and stuff? Why does these things happen? And it's just strange, like Prince and stuff like that. But going back to mental health, we have to get ourselves straight before we, handle fame and fortune. Because as I keep saying, you gain the whole world and lose your soul. And yeah. So you have any last words on this topic?
Well, I was glad to be a part of this part 2. I wish I was a part of part 1, but it's definitely an eye opener, and like I said, it's sad. This R. Kelly being just a musical genius. I mean, the dude, he didn't have to read or write to make an awesome song, and his songs, regardless of what, there's gonna be people who listen to him, there's gonna be people who gonna stop listening to him, but regardless of what, he still had those songs that make you feel good. But as a human being, you realize that this is a person that's not perfect, but nobody's perfect, but he just had issues. And your heart just can't help but just like feel for him. Yeah. You enjoy his music, but you see this person as a human being behind the music. And so it's just one of those things where like, we need more help, because this fame thing that now is clout. People are doing anything now to be famous. You don't even have to have talent. It's about personality and stuff. Yeah. Matter of fact, people with the least talent and more of their personality and stuff is getting even more recognized. Yeah. But regardless of however way, somebody become famous, the thing is that fame is no joke.
Yeah. And in some ways, these females can have it worse because they really got to think about their image. The last episode I talked about Lil' Kim, how, she changed her face, her image, because guys in the past really told her, she wasn't all that. She didn't look all that because she was of a darker complexion. And, see what happened, she keep changing her face and all that stuff. And I don't know the full story of why, but I know it has to do with, self-esteem. Right. Having to build, live up to this image that people want you to have. And she was beautiful at the beginning, brown skin. She was a beautiful person, and it's sad to see that she had to bleach her skin and her nose changed so many times. Yeah.
It was nothing, and the thing is regardless of what, it was nothing wrong with her. Yeah. Nothing wrong with her. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's crazy. I mean, like, just think about it. It's one thing, going through that self-esteem, like small setting. Yeah. But being viewed by the world. Yeah. All it takes is one person to say something. Yeah. And they've been out of shape. But imagine people around the world, let alone a state. So yeah, man. I mean, it's people definitely need to know their worth. Yeah. Because entertaining people also come with what do I need to work on? But if people don't know themselves, they're not going to be able to handle that pressure, and it's going to make them compromise and do things that they're going to regret later.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a big risk being an artist and an entertainer, because you giving up your own life, your own time to be in the limelight of other people. And I believe that's what Michael Jackson went through, from a young boy. He was in front of the limelight. He didn't really have no childhood because he had to perform for these people. And it just seemed like you become a slave to this industry. They tell you to go here, you go there, and you don't have time to just sit back and say, I'm Michael Jackson, I'm DMX, I'm this person, it's just you have to live in this persona, the rest of your life. And that's what a lot of people, that's listening have to be aware of. If you want to be an artist, a musician, a producer, you have to put yourself first, and you have to put God. Well, you have to put God first before anything, and then the rest will follow. And you have to stay humble, and know where your gift comes from, and that's the main thing. So you have to be respectful to God with your body. Before you achieve the success, because once you get the money, if you have an alcohol addiction before you get the money, it's gonna get even bigger. That addiction. So
it can just and the thing is as they gotta be careful because it could be presented to them.
Yeah, true. Like DMX. Yeah, he was 14 when he was introduced. Whitney Houston was, like her 1920s, and she was introduced to cocaine. And you have to be careful, It's sad. People have different personalities. Some people give into peer pressure, they're weaker than others as far as peer pressure. And so you have to be aware of that too before you, get in this music industry and music business. So, because it's all about money. They don't care how you are. They just want that money. So, thank you for being on this show. I think this is one of the most important topics I talk about because it starts with the mental, and then all these things. You have to put that first before your musical creativity. So I appreciate you being on the show, and I hope you have a blessed night. All right.
You too, bro.
All right.
Great
Peace.
show, man. All right. Peace.
All right.